lesson, no matter when it is acquired. Prologue. Toby was just a baby, Allison 4 years old, Ursula not yet 3, the first time they launched the Cork people. After that, it became their annual tradition. Eleanor had always loved how, when the snow melted every spring, the water in the brook down the road would race so fast you could hear it from their house, crashing over the rocks at the waterfall. A person could stand there for an hour, and in the old days, before children, when she would come to this place alone, she had done that, staring into the water, studying the patterns it made as the brook narrowed and widened again, the way it washed over the smaller stones and splashed against the large ones. If you felt like it, you might trace the course of a single stick or leaf, some remnant of last summer, as it made its way downstream, tossed along by the current. One time, she and the children had spotted a child's sneaker caught up in the racing water. Another time, Allison had tossed a pine cone in the brook, and the 4 of them, Eleanor, Allison, Ursula, and baby Toby, had watched it bob along, disappearing into a culvert but showing up again, miraculously, on the other side. They had followed that pine cone along the edges of the brook until it disappeared around a bend. "If only we had a boat," Allison said, looking out at the racing water. "We could float down the stream." She was thinking about the song Eleanor used to sing to them in the car. Merrily, 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 she sang now in her sweet, high voice. Life is but a dream. When they got home, she was still talking about it, so Eleanor suggested that they make a miniature boat and launch it just below the falls, with little passengers along for the ride. "We could make them out of popsicle sticks," she said, "or corks." Cork, because it floated. Cork people. Every year after that, usually on the first warm weekend in March, Eleanor laid out the craft supplies on the kitchen table. Pipe cleaners, glue gun, string, push pins, magic markers, and corks saved from a year's worth of wine, which wasn't all that much in those days. They constructed their boats out of balsa wood with sails attached made from scraps of outgrown pajama bottoms and dresses. For Allison, the future engineer, it was the boats that occupied her attention more than the passengers. But Ursula took the greatest care, drawing faces on the corks, gluing on hair and hats. Even Toby, young as he was, participated. Every Cork person got a name. One was Crystal, Ursula's suggestion. She had wanted a sister with the name, but failing that, gave it to a Cork person. One was Rufus, not a Cork person in fact, but a Cork dog. They named one Walt after their neighbor, and another was named after the daughter of a man on their father's softball team who got cancer and died just before they went back to school. When they were done making their Cork people and the vessels to carry them, the children and Eleanor carried them down to a spot they'd staked out, flat enough for all 4 of them to stand, and one by one, they would lower their boats and the passengers they carried, attached with rubber bands, into the fast-moving waters. "Goodbye, Crystal. Bye, Rufus. See you later, Walt." They were on their own now, and there was nothing anyone could do to assist them in the perilous journey ahead. It was like parenthood, Eleanor thought, watching the little line of bobbing vessels taking off through the fast-moving waters. You made these precious people. You hovered over them closely, your only goal impossible, to keep them out of harm's way. But sooner or later, you had to let the Cork people set off without you, and once you did, there would be nothing for it but to stand on the shore or run along the edge yelling encouragement, praying they'd make it. The boats took off bobbing and dancing. Eleanor and the children ran along the mossy bank, following their progress. They ran hard to keep up, Eleanor holding tight to Toby's hand. Toby, the one who could get away and into trouble faster than anyone. The journey wasn't easy for the Cork people. Some of the boats in which the children had placed them got stuck along the way in the tall grass along the side of the brook. Some disappeared without a trace. If a boat capsized bearing one of her precious Cork people,